Duke of Edinburgh's award scheme is now 25 years old, and we asked its chairman, James Gajero, how the scheme had been performing in Gibraltar.
Exceedingly well, bearing in mind that the entire concept of the Duke of Edinburgh's award scheme is it's a voluntary organisation. It doesn't have large resources which are made available to it to support it. And so it's very much on the back of individuals' efforts. Unfortunately, they have a wonderful council, and they've had a lot of committed people, particularly the helpers, the assessors, the instructors, all the adults who've been supporting the award, have ensured that young people who have chosen to enter the award have at least been given the best chances of securing awards at the 3 levels, bronze, silver and gold.
Now, when did your council come up with the idea of inviting His Royal Highness for the 25th anniversary celebrations?
I think Michael Pizzarello, who's the award coordinator, and the council have been thinking about this for a number of years prior to our 25th. And about, I suppose, 3.5, 4 years ago, it was first discussed as a possibility.
Well, it was an idea that came to me in 1991 when I went to the International Forum in Hong Kong, where they were celebrating, I think it was 20 years anniversary there. And Prince Edward was there and Prince Philip was there as well. And at the time I thought, well, we're going to have our 25th anniversary celebrations at some point in the future, which is now. Mm-hmm. And I thought, well, we might try and get one of the royal patrons to come out. So the idea started then. I sort of left it in my mind then. And it was in 1993 or 94 when I started sort of hitting a bit harder at council and saying, look, it's 25 years in a few years' time. Let's try and do something. So we've been trying since then to get somebody to come out. So it was in late last year when we were given the go-ahead, and we actually knew for certain that His Royal Highness Prince Philip had agreed to come out.
My big advantage is when I was invited to join the council, I had, having served in the Irish Guards in London, having many friends who are now serving in various positions within the Queen's household, I had lots of people that I could pull strings with and lobby and try and sort of do what I could to smooth the way of this visit. And with much goodwill and support, one has been able to secure His Royal Highness coming out this week, which is very exciting.
Thankfully, I have a council who are very supportive and very helpful. And what we've done is we've divided the tasks between us. So we have a council member sort of in charge or dealing with the organization of each particular event, because we have several going on. We've got the presentation ceremony, we have the gala dinner at the casino, we have the business lunch at the Rock Hotel, we also have a meeting
at Devil's Gap in the morning.
That's right, the Rock Tour, which encompasses not just the abseiling at Devil's Gap, but also other things. We've got a meeting with His Royal Highness as a council. We've got a meeting with the corporate sponsors to actually, so they can actually meet His Royal Highness as well. So we have quite a number of things.
I think young people are always looking for a little bit of excitement, a little bit of a challenge, something to do, and I think the scheme is perhaps the best vehicle for that, in the sense that it provides a challenge, excitement, adventure, something to do, the feeling of being useful, if you like, in terms of serving the community and whatever.
We've set ourselves 3 principal objectives. Obviously, bringing the Duke here was the main one in terms of raising the profile of the award, so that more and more people realised that there was an active and live award in Gibraltar which was worthy of the support of not only the business community but obviously the community as a whole. The second thing was fundraising, and to that end we've been very successful. Some of my colleagues in the business community have come forward with tremendous generosity, and we've achieved a sum of money which they have donated to the award, which guarantees all our expenses as an award on a day-to-day basis for the next 5 years, which means that we're on solid financial footings. The last aspect of this is obviously to get the young people of Gibraltar committed to the award. We have no doubt that the award gives them a wonderful structure in which to broaden their horizons, and a re-energized award with the help of the Duke can do so much to help us achieve our objective of getting the young people fully involved and get them on the right rails to success.
I believe there's about 100 young people involved in the scheme at one stage or another. But really what we are trying to do is to promote the scheme because there's two elements really to this. I feel that young people always want to have something to do, but I think that at the same time they want to be seen, or they think they want to do something which is useful, not only to the community but to themselves. So in a way what we're trying to do is promote the scheme to young people as a vehicle of leisure activities, as something which is worthwhile doing, not for the sake, say, of having a little certificate and a badge at the end of the day, but of having done something worthwhile with your time and your life, if you like. And at the same time trying to get industry, businesses, commerce, aware of what kind of participant takes part in the scheme. And believe you me, having gone through it myself, achieving a gold award is something special. The fact that only 42 people have actually achieved the gold award since the scheme was started in Gibraltar is indicative of, I think, how difficult it is to actually get it, because it's not a question of difficulty in terms of being able to have to be academically gifted or anything like that, but I mean, to get a gold award you have to persist at something for at least 18 months, you know?
You have to be consistent.
That's right, absolutely, you know? And in particular in the service, if you're involved in perhaps going down to the Dr. Hiraldi home or to the Mount Alvernia and helping out there, obviously there are times when you think to yourself, I'd rather be doing something else rather than, and I mean the fact that you do go there and carry this out for 18 months shows that you are the kind of person who is prepared to make a commitment and to see it through, you know, and I think that perhaps in terms of businesses in particular, I think that kind of young person is the kind of young person that I would like to employ in my company if I was a businessman.
The boost that we will get from the visit will hopefully be a very big one, both PR-wise, financially, and getting people to sort of join up. The question of people joining up is a difficult one, because nowadays, with the system of education has changed in recent years from when I used to do the award, there's more time involved for the participants at homework and doing other stuff. So they haven't got much time, I don't think. That's the impression I get from the participants. So it's a difficult situation that they're in. It's choosing between studying and their careers or outside activities, outside of school and that sort of environment.
Well, I had to do a couple of things, 5 actually. I did some skills, which I did my driving. I did a driving skill for about 18 months. That's a minimum you can actually do it for.
What, you had to learn to drive?
Learn how to drive.
Right.
And then I did my service, which I've done it for 7 years in the Dukes, actually covers it.
What, you were working with the scheme?
Yes, working with the scheme.
That covers your
Yes, I did
service,
help.
right?
Then I did my physical, which I'm doing basketball, I'm still doing it. And then I did my residential, I did it in Cheshire Homes. And
So what, you go once a year to the Cheshire Homes or something?
actually, no, we had to go like 5 days, just be there for 5 days.
Ah, so you had to live there in Tangier,
yeah,
right.
for 5 days, and that's it.
And what, help out there with
Help with the handicaps and everything.
Right.
It's quite good.
Was that a rewarding experience
Yes,
for
it
you?
was. Yes, we're deciding to go again next year.
Right.
So it should be good.
So it's something that you will do that anyway, regardless of
Yes.
whether it's for the scheme?
Yes, actually, the scheme pushed me into doing it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it.
Going through your teens, it gives enough time for you to grow enough and develop enough to go on to the next stage, you know, physically, because it is quite demanding from one stage to another.
And then you have to log everything that you do, I suppose?
Log it.
That's part of it, no?
Yeah, you could have a project to go with it as well.
Now, how do you feel about making history and being the first recipients of Gold Award from the hand of the Duke, but here in Gibraltar?
I think it's once in a lifetime. I don't think it's
That's
going
right.
to happen again.
That's right, yes.
So, can't explain it really.
Is the scheme something that you would recommend to your friends or to other young people to
Definitely.
take up? Something good, worthwhile, you think?
I think it's the ultimate youth scheme that can be. There's nothing else that compares it in general. It includes everything.
I will actually recommend it to anybody up to the age of 23. It's quite good.
We started when the award scheme started, we joined, so we were involved for about 3 years.
So really less than some of the people nowadays who've been with the scheme about 7 or 8 years, they tell me.
Yes, because to do the gold award is 18 months, but obviously we started off getting on our feet and then we started getting channeled.
I suppose in those days it must have seemed a pretty daunting thing to go to Buckingham Palace to receive an award, no?
Well, if you think of the 1970s with the closed frontier, there was nothing much for us to do here, and obviously the award scheme gave us a lot of incentive and a lot of things to look forward to. And obviously our first trip to Buckingham Palace and being the first from Gibraltar, it was quite an ordeal.
Has the scheme changed a lot? Because you've been attached to the scheme for a number of years now as leader. Has it changed a lot since those days? For example, do you have to do harder things? Or?
No, not really. I think that it's encouraging to see that after so many years and Gibraltar being so small, the scheme is still functioning perfectly well.
Well, it started in 1971, and we were the first ones to take part in the scheme. Due to my age, I had to start with the gold level, which is from 16 upwards. And I think I was about 17.
When you started?
When I started.
How large was the group in those days?
Well, we were one of the founders, really. There was very, very few.
Very few.
And it was something new. It's quite an experience, and we had to travel abroad as well to do the expedition. So I enjoyed it tremendously.
You had special difficulties because in those days, of course, the frontier was shut, so you couldn't get hiking expedition anywhere.
No,
so what did you do instead?
Well, we started our training here first, and we used to go up the rock a number of times and weekend camping. And then we went up to Mazelet, which is in the Brecons, around the Brecon area in the Black Mountains, and that is where I did my expedition. So different terrain, the weather was very cold. It was quite an experience, actually.
You were pioneers, of course, of the scheme, as you rightly said, and you were also, along with Pili, the first two Gibraltarians who received the Gold Award.
Through the scheme, yes.
Through the scheme. Now, when you came back to Gibraltar, you joined the scheme here as leaders, didn't you? Tell me about that.
We joined the committee, and I used to deal with part of the expedition and the physical side of it. In those days, I was younger, I was always involved with sports, so I took over the physical activity section, and I spent quite a number of years with that. And I helped out a lot of children, a lot of boys in this section, which is what the main thing of the scheme is.
Has the scheme always been popular in Gibraltar with young people?
I believe it has. Maybe it hasn't got so much participants as it would like to have, but due to the commitments of the A levels and O levels and A levels, I suppose that is why maybe it hasn't got so many participants. But it's still a large group which has taken part in the scheme, and some of them have been lucky enough to get the 3 awards, which is the bronze, the silver, and the gold. Like I said before, due to my age, I couldn't do that.
You went straight for the gold?
I had to go straight to the gold.
We're surprised to see that during the 22 years of Gold Award in Gibraltar, that only 42 had actually received the Gold Award during those years. So yes, there is about 22 to 44. We've had a few inclusions very recently.
You think that's not enough?
That is not enough for the amount of, boys and girls that we had, adults that we had throughout the 22 years or 25 years now this year.
Now, what is the object of this exhibition?
Well, as I said before, it's the 25th year of the Edinburgh in Gibraltar, and we thought of obviously having something to commemorate the year, and we have this exhibition as the main event for the 25th anniversary. It consists of 29 associations who are involved or have been involved throughout the years in helping us, our participants, pass their own different skills and other things. And the idea is for them to promote us or help us in the exhibition, as well as helping themselves, where they'll be able to recruit people into their own associations, as well as helping us in the exhibition. The preparation has been, as I said, the idea was 2 years back when we formed the association, the Gold Award holders. And it goes back to 2 years, the actual preparation. Obviously at the beginning, there were a lot of things happening, and it was just something which we wanted to do. But since about 5, 6, 7 months ago, we've been very, very heavily involved in organising the exhibition. One of the main problems has been in these last 2 years that because of the security side, we haven't been able to say to the public that we were hoping to bring His Royal Highness or somebody, you know, in his place. And we've had to have that very, very, very quiet during those 2 years. So we've been focusing around that, hopefully to have this official opening that we're going to have in the exhibition where he's going to officially open it. So that's been, I would say, a major problem. We didn't know for sure until the very last minute, and we couldn't tell people that he was coming. As far as the exhibition itself, well, you know, to coordinate 29 associations that are involved in the exhibition, you know, is a hassle. You know, there's been a lot of time involved. We've had quite a few meetings with different associations. We've had to accommodate them. We've had to get other associations, you know, helping us out with tables, you know, all kinds of things.
I actually achieved my Gold Award and went to Buckingham Palace to receive it from His Royal Highness back in 1979. Okay, so I started doing the scheme, I believe it was in 1974, and I then went on to achieve the bronze, silver and gold award standards. I think the highlight of my gold award must certainly be the 5 days expedition that we did in the Brecon Beacons. I think you have to remember that at the time the frontier was closed. We used to live in Gibraltar in a very insular environment. We used to do most of our training with backpacks and all our equipment, walking up and down Mediterranean steps, which certainly came in good stead when
camping at GLO, I suppose.
That's right, absolutely. Of course, navigation and compass work and that was practically non-existent here. And that was quite overwhelming when we got to Brecon Beacons and suddenly realized how good our navigation had to be able to get us around this sort of bleak landscape where there's very, very few sort of landmarks that you can sort of navigate by.
I remember arriving there, and yes, I was taking I was a little bit afraid of doing the expedition. But luckily enough, we've got a lot of hills here. And of course we go up to the Upper Rock, and as you know, it's all uphill. Mm-hmm. So when we went there, we were quite prepared for that, for the walk. Uh-huh. And out of a group of, there was 12 of us when we started altogether, and only 4 of us finished. Mm-hmm. So it was quite an experience, and it was quite good as well. 4
of you from Gibraltar, or just?
No, there was only 2 of us from Gibraltar.
From Gibraltar.
Like you mentioned before. Mm-hmm. And there was 5 boys going for the expedition and 5 other girls. Uh-huh. So all in all, it was 12 in the group, and there was only 4 of us which finished. The other 8.
That must have been a very proud moment for you.
It was, because they thought that, you know, maybe coming from another part, you know, we wouldn't be able to do it, but we did all right.
Would not perhaps yourselves as the council look at the possibility of perhaps streamlining the award activities, perhaps to fall in more or less with today's demands on the students?
Well, unfortunately, we cannot change the rules. They are written in stone, so to speak. And they are set out for us by the International Association, and we have to meet those guidelines to a certain extent. As regards streamlining them, they are streamlined in a way already, because each participant does his own thing in his own time. He doesn't have to wait for somebody else to do a particular activity. He can do it on his own, because most of it is done by the individual participants. It's only expeditions and stuff like that which requires a group involvement. But that usually is the least of the problems, because that's what they all like.
I represent the Gold Award holders on the council. So really my role in that is to have some sort of input as to what the Gold Award holders are planning and how they can assist the council in promoting the scheme, in assisting the scheme. That's my role really in the council, but on a more practical level, what I do is I help out the expedition section by doing the expedition assessment. Basically, after the participants have done their expedition training and they are considered to be competent enough to carry out an expedition, they have to carry out an expedition according to whatever level they are doing of increasing duration of both time and distance, and also the environment becomes much more, if you like, hostile as you go up. Yeah?
These expeditions are now conducted in nearby Spain, I suppose.
That's right,
no?
yeah.
Granada or
We've
something.
been doing the bronze in the Tarifa area and Jimena area, because that is what we would call greenfield country in the UK. Silver, we've been taking them up to the Sierra de Grazalema, and then for gold, we actually encourage people to travel abroad. There is going to be a group of gold participants traveling to Luxembourg this year. I believe it is in July, and they'll be undertaking their gold expeditions together with other participants from UK and other nations. So in a way that there is not only the expedition, but there's meeting other people and whatever you have, you know. I think it's quite exciting for them, really.
Are there going to be any changes in the award scheme for the future?
I think the key ingredient which we've been successful in doing is not only are the corporate supporters, as I call them, the 10 companies which are involved with the award, committing financial resources, but the leaders of each of these companies have promised to put their own effort and time and energy into helping the award get the most, so that the award will reflect in their own companies as to the sort of the community spirit of these companies. And so I think I've got the list, in fact, if you wouldn't mind. Norwich Union, they are very committed, so Toyota, Basildoni Motors, National Westminster Bank, Gibraltar International Telecommunications, Gibtel, Taylor Woodrow, J.A. Hassan and Partners, York Limited, which is Marks and Spencers in Gibraltar, Ernst & Young, the Shell Company of Gibraltar, and the Bland Group. All of those 10 companies are doing an enormous amount to help us, and with their support not only financially, but in terms of their commitment and dedication, I remain very, very satisfied that we're setting off on the right track for the next 25 years.
Having been involved in the program, I can tell you that every minute of every day is planned. So it's a great pleasure to have you with us in Gibraltar, and please, if you would.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure to see you all here. I'm not quite sure how many of you have any idea what this is all about. I mean, it's not just about having a very good dinner. There are various reasons why you're here, and some people to say thank you for helping, and other people who in the future somebody will say thank you for helping. What you're helping is the award scheme. And for those of you who may not know what I'm talking about, I'll just let me tell you the very simple details. It's a scheme of 4 sections. They are, first of all, skills. People learn a hobby of some kind. It's voluntary service, learning how to help others. It's physical recreation, that's getting fit. And it's enterprise through undertaking an expedition. Now, each of those sections has a number of options so that every individual can choose their own program. They choose one option from each section, and if they complete the syllabus, they get a certificate and a small badge. You can start at 14 and it goes up to 25. There are 3 levels. For the younger members or the participants, they get a bronze award. For the next level they get a silver award, and then the upper level get a gold award. So that's all it is. It's very simple.
Of course, it's not quite as simple as His Royal Highness makes out, but the scheme is a solid program designed to be the ultimate youth challenge for those who want to get out and do things. To the 63 recipients of award go our congratulations, and to the Council our admiration for having single-handedly organized a royal visit to the Rock, which we otherwise wouldn't have got. Kudos to all those organizers who wish to remain silent on this great achievement. With that kind of leadership and enterprise, the Duke of Edinburgh Award Scheme is certainly here for a long time.